Alright guys, so you know that on this channel I have shown you how to build all kinds of axles, including Dana 60s, Dana 44s, Toyota axles, even Super Duty axles.
That axle's seen some weather.
And how to build the ultimate Ford 9-inch. But one of the most common things that I get told all the time is, that's really cool, but I may not have the money for the tooling. And that entire box is pretty much the tools you need to do gears. So if you guys are familiar with my Unicorn Comanche, I feel like this is very similar to what a lot of you have. You don't have a specific rock crawler that you can trailer everywhere. You need something that you can drive and still go off-roading and maybe even take to work. And to be roadworthy, I put 488 gears in it. And like I've said before, the higher the number, the lower the gear. Where the gears that are in this are 717s, a lot lower, which gives me a good combination for highway and off-road. One problem I have is when I get into a little bit harder trails, and just like you guys, where you start to get a little more comfortable in your vehicle and you get into the harder trails, you need that extra bit of gearing. And this was a problem I had even 20 years ago when it was the only vehicle I had, and I feel like this could be a problem for people even 20 years from now. Maybe you don't have gearing and you have enough motor to drive on the road, but when you put it in low range, you still just need that extra bit of gears. So I put a center force clutch in this thing, but there's a lot of times where I'm getting into technical stuff and I have to ride that clutch. And I really don't want to do that, but it's a good thing I have a center force clutch, so that saves me a little bit. And what I have inside the back of this truck is what I believe is probably the most budget way to get you better gearing off-road. And that's a used transfer case. This is a 241 rock track with a 4-to-1 gear ratio that I got from Rory actually, but I've seen these a lot for sale on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and even KSL. Now I know there's a lot of aftermarket transfer cases out there that you can buy. In this case, if you can find them, if you're willing to shop around, they pop up fairly reasonable. I've seen them from $800 to $1,200. This is gonna be probably your cheapest way to get gears. And for my instance, this came out of a Rubicon Jeep. Sometimes I've actually found these even in the junkyards, and those are scores of the day for sure. There is, however, a couple things that I'm gonna have to change to be able to make this work for my Jeep. One being that this has a 1330 front joint. So I can change that by doing two things. I can either run a 1330 new drive shaft, or I can just change this yoke out and go to the 1310 that's in here already. And we also have the same situation for the rear. And the way we're gonna fix that is the way we do all of our stuff that has to do with drive shafts and yokes and U-joints. And we went down to Adam's Drive Shaft in Las Vegas, got the parts we needed, and we went ahead and checked the place out. We had the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame last night where we got to see Frank Curry and Lonnie McCurry Sr. get inducted into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. That was pretty cool. Now we're here at Adam's Drive Shaft. You guys know why I use these guys. Curl it, Jeff. Curl it. Curling.
That's a heavy drive shaft.
Your glove.
That's Jeff. He's the boss.
Oh, how you doing?
That's Zane's. Well, I mean,
We got a whole posse going around for everybody.
Good morning.
It's like kid in a candy shop, I swear, with these boys here. It's so cool. This is really cool.
I tell you guys all the time I use Adam's Drive Shaft, and the reason why is because they make a lot of their own parts. They're their own forged parts. They seal the caps. Everything that you can possibly get made in America, they do. Here is a standard yoke. I can't tell you how many times I've broke one of these off. Now what they designed and what they have forged are these. You can see that whole tire cap is covered, so you're not just gonna break that little dog ear off, lose a cap, spit a drive shaft, right?
I have an 1.5 inch pass through on my lathe. Do you
We
see
just have
something
to have
like
a way
that?
to put a big.
Like, imagine what I could do with that.
We have to have a way to put a
We've
big.
not bought lathes just because of the hole in the middle. Like, oh, I can't build a drive shaft for that.
But yeah, that's how we machine it.
They make aluminum shafts. I think I impressed some of these guys as well, getting to see all the stuff they make. I didn't give them a heads up. Like, that's how clean their shop is regularly. They didn't even know we were coming down here. That's a big airplane. And if they don't have it, they can make it. Give them a call if you need something. Don't forget, if you use the code Colt Builds It, you get 10% off. It's an even better deal. One of the things I want to do is do it right here on the garage floor. We have the lift packed up with the mini wrecker. So even if you watch this video a year from now, you'll know kind of what time frame it was. Like I said, I feel like you're still going to need this a year from now or 20 years from now, because I'm doing this now and I even needed this 20 years ago. But as you can see, I have just about enough room as you would in a regular garage. got our new drive shaft yokes in. This is gonna be really, really good for our situation. You may already have the drive shafts that were on it, or if you got it from a salvage yard, you might have been able to pull those drive shafts as well. But the plan is to use hand tools, mostly Harbor Freight tools, just like you'd use at home. Ooh, a rock. You might notice my rear drive shaft's already gone, and we actually dropped that off. The whole reason we were actually down there in Las Vegas is because we went to SEMA. And we saw a few cool things while we were there. So you know there's always a lot of ridiculous stuff at SEMA, but this is one of my jams here. This is David. He's got a Channel Willamette motor and fab. I want you guys to look at this. What makes it even cooler, it's still got the 6.5 diesel in it.
So it's on the trail and stuff.
That's awesome.
Polaris and Can-Am better look out. Toyota's gonna get in the side-by-side game.
This is like recycled carbon fiber.
Who would have guessed, even getting out of New Mexico and getting into Nevada, where there's also spaceships. It's the right color, though. See?
Can Colt fit is the question.
Colt, can you get in here, bro?
He can't
Hold on.
fit.
Now with the backpack.
We need like some smoke and like have the door open. Oh, dude, this thing's moving with you in here.
It's gonna take off.
Dude, don't tip it over. I don't have enough counterbalance weight over here to help you.
They 3D printed these. These are cool, man. This is rad.
This is super cool.
Is this going to end up at in Laser Town?
It should. That's
should.
probably where they're going to take it next.
That Predator he has is sick.
We don't talk about
Show us the alien, Jeff.
I am here from the planet International Harvester, and I'm here to dominate this place.
All right, so it's day 2. We are at the Jeep booth. We had a little conversation this morning. This thing is the Rewind. They're pulling it back to the 80s. If that looks like 80s to you, let me know down below. I had hot pink parachute pants, so I can't say it's not, but I am really looking at this thing. Gladiator Honcho throwback. That thing's sick. This one's blueprint. Everything that's blue you can actually order. As a Comanche guy, I am actually absolutely loving this. If this was a kit that I could buy, I would do this right now. 6-foot bed and all. If you guys are familiar with old Dodge, then you might remember when they came out with the Dude. Not the Dude that most of us know.
Walter, he peed on my rug.
He peed on the dude's rug.
If you're some of the, I won't say older, more experienced crowd, you'll know the original Dude.
Boy, you just got to get them in these babies so they can feel the power and ride. Dig in now, honey.
Do you know the Dude?
Dude.
Not that dude. Don Knotts. I'm sure every one of you know who this is, and if you don't, Mr. Rick Payway, and he pretty much knows everything there is to know about Jeeps. I want you to see this. He also always wears sandals. I've seen him wearing sandals with a suit on. I've seen him wearing sandals in the snow. So Shanna is not alone.
He's
Rick's
my
there.
sandal twin.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
You and me.
Now, if you're familiar with any Jeep that's 2006 and older, then you know you're gonna need an 8mm 12 point for your drive shaft. If your Jeep is 2007 or newer, my son and I did a video on how to pull the T-case right here. Pop the shifter out. And if you've ever pulled a 231 out, you got 6 little 9/16 head nuts right there and all the way around in a circle. You can see a few more over here. This is where one of these tools comes in really, really handy. If you got a 1/4" drive ratchet and you can rotate the ratchet head, make your life a lot better. And if those don't work, you remember that you did this to a wrench once, and this works great. 1 down, 5 to go. 4 more. 3 more. 1 more. 0 more. Now, there's a couple ways you can pull this T-case. You can use a floor jack and just kind of ease it out and hope that you kind of keep it on the jack. Have somebody control the jack and let the jack handle down while you kind of keep it balanced. Or you just manhandle it, yank it out, cover yourself in transmission fluid, and call it a day. Human jack. So there are a few differences with this case that are going to make it better. One being this case is actually a little bit stronger. So this is the 4-to-1 case. A stock Jeep NP231 is 2.72 to 1 gears, where the Rubicon case is 4-to-1 gears. Quite a bit lower. Also, if you were to come across this before you have to build this case, because if you do a lift, a lot of times you got to do this slip yoke eliminator. This already has it on it, so it's already set up with that. Meaning that those are already commented and said, well, you said you just had to buy a case and you're already buying yoke pieces. Well, I can sell this case and that'll make that price up. No sweat. And then lastly is the speedometer situation, which I don't know if you guys saw that mine had this set up, but then it goes to a plug, and this one already has a plug. Mine's a 2-wire plug, this is a 3-wire plug, but I think I've seen some adapters. Worst case scenario, I drive this thing with GPS, which I kind of do anyway because, well, it's got big tires and speedometer doesn't really read right anyway. Other than that, the only other thing you want to check is just kind of make sure that the input shaft isn't too much different from the face of this flange to the end, the face of this flange to the end, which this one looks like it's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go ahead and measure that. I'll measure this and then I'll mic it in the transmission. So even though it looks quite a bit longer on this one, it must just be an optical illusion with this inset here, because there's only a 1/16 of an inch difference between this face to this flange and this face to this flange. The other thing I forgot to mention is the shifter. So the shifter on this comes out the bottom, the side of the yoke. This shifter comes out the top, above the yoke. So it still works 2 high, 4 high, neutral, 4 low, but it is in a different place. Meaning we might have to modify our linkage just a little bit. Lift with your back, right? Not your legs. Went to stab the transfer case in and we have a problem. You can see how big this side of the T-case is. We need basically 1 3/4 to the center of this post, all the way around. What we have here is right at 1 3/4 for the top. I might actually have to massage that some, and we're not even close down here. We only got about 1 1/4. That means I have to make a whole new transmission mount on top of massaging this rib out. I mean, it's gonna be close, but I think we gotta do it. And by massage, I mean sledgehammer. So I have 2 issues. This is gonna need to get lower. So I'm gonna have to get rid of these 2 bolts, and I'm gonna have to trim this out, and I'll put longer bolts in here, tack them in, and then I'll have to space it, which will push this down. But if I leave this at this height, it's gonna push my transmission up. So we have to move this mount down. I found these washers. I don't know if they're like old cam bolt washers or something. I'm gonna weld those in and then drill out that hole 1/2 inch lower. So that should work. Should. We'll find out.
Night shift cutie at the truck stop knows my name. Threw the candle in the midnight oil and lit up the honky-tonk highway. I see the sun come up as I ain't in the bed. Gonna have my name cut into a stone when I lay my head. No risk for the wicked, at least for a few hundred.
All right. So with that trimmed off, we should be clear now. And we should be clear up here too, because I actually lowered it 1/4 inch. So while we were in SEMA, Shannon and I aren't big gamblers and it's in Las Vegas. So we went with our friends from IH Parts America down to Kingman and checked out his brother's international salvage yard. In our road trip here, SEMA starts tomorrow, so we decided to come check out some of Jeff's family, Issa's International Harvester. I want you to see what they have in their lot here. If you are into 13-letter poop spreaders, you want to come here and check this out. It's just down here in Kingman, Arizona. They do everything from restoration to anything else, even fire trucks. What on earth? Yeah, it's custom. That's cool.
Too, like that's even more rare.
Yeah, that's
a super rare camper top right there.
This is cool. This is just wired into their top, lead soldered. It's like a spare fuel tank just up here doing its thing. Maybe they had it for that's a diesel. That's an 80. Yeah, that's cool. That's a 1 year only rig. And it has a one-off fuel tank up on the roof for spare fuel before the cam cans. You got the Betty Boop edition. Oh, best worst tire ever made. Right there.
My favorite, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah, oh man. I wanted a set of those. I finally got a set thinking they'd be good at mud and good on the road. They're bad at both. Most amazing worst tire ever, Thornbirds. I love them and hate them all at the same time. This looked like Shanna's, like this color. Yeah. This color, but just never ends.
Colt shopping. I already made my shopping list. What are you shopping for?
Well, I'm looking at this 1980. This is a turbo diesel, 1 year model, I believe. Yeah, just kind of nerding out on that fact. I figure we gamble enough trying to make these things work. Moment of truth. All right, I think we got it. Not light, but we just clear. I got the 6 nuts back on here finger tight. Now I get to tighten them all up again. Only 5 more to go. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. 0 more. The nice thing about this T-case is the front drive shaft is in the exact same spot, so I don't have to change anything, measure anything like that. We can just bolt it right up. All right, it might be kind of hard to tell because there's stuff here, but the factory linkage did work. I just had to adjust the adjuster that's right there. So the one thing we have to do is we need to measure our rear drive shaft because it is going to be a little bit longer due to this shorter slip yoke, which means you need to come out here. You want to go from center U-joint to center U-joint if it's like this style. So we're going to go center U-joint and we're going to come up here and you want to go to the face of the flange. So since we're on the top of that, the face of the flange, we're 53.5, and then you do the same to the bottom. So we'll go bottom to bottom, and that's 53.25. So I like to favor the long side. We're gonna call up Adam's drive shaft. We're gonna order 53.5 from center U-joint to flange. We'll be good to go.
Don't forget, you can get 10% off all Adam's drive shaft stuff. Just use code Colt Built It.
So the cool thing about this is our Barnes T-case guard is still gonna work, but before I put that on, I just wanna top this thing off with some ATF.
What do you call the guards at Samsung?
What do you call the guards at Samsung? Phone protectors?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. There you go. All right, got the T-case filled up, sprayed it with a little brake clean, tried to clean off my mess because I'm messy. There's a little bit of mess still there. Now we can put our cover back on. And I can't hook this up just yet because one's 3 and one's 2, and I'm not sure what I need to do there, but I can GPS my speed for a while anyway. All right, so we got this thing all back together, minus the rear drive shaft. I'm gonna call and get that ordered. But we started this project pretty late in the afternoon. You know, time change, it got dark quick. See, dark out. In the morning, we'll jump in here, I'll order my drive shaft, and we'll give this thing a little test drive in low range and see what it does. New day, new hat. I ordered one of these hats. If you guys think I should start selling them on the website, let me know down there. So this morning I went ahead and got a hold of Adam's drive shaft, got my rear drive shaft on order, but I want to go ahead and pull this thing out. Let's just see how low the low range is. Well, I'd say it's quite a bit lower. I can walk faster than it now. That's good. Ghost Rider. So the great thing about this is I'm not losing any of my highway speed, any of my highway capability. I'm just getting better low range for off-road. Now granted, I did have to use the welder a little bit, but I do have a custom transmission mount. So in your case, you might not have to do that. Kind of depends on what your transmission is and the way it's mounted to your T-case. Outside that little bit of welding, we did everything with just hand tools that you would have in a garage size amount of space. So from changing our low range out from a 2.72 to a 4-to-1, we gained 50% more low range. That's 111% better. And we didn't have to buy any custom tooling other than having that welder, which you could probably cut and drill stuff and make it all work without using a welder. And there's always somebody that wants to upgrade that's getting rid of what they had before. In my case, Trailmater got an Atlas so he could do front dig, and I got a 4-to-1 so that we can crawl better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Thanks for watching.
All the gears is.
What a demonstration. Toughest truck ever built. Who can I tell about it? Nobody saw it.